This time on whatever we want, we talk about
Moon Knight. We're reviewing the entire series, giving our overall thoughts and some behind-the-scenes insights and stuff. Spoilers, huge big spoilers ahead for all 6 episodes. There are time codes down in the description if you'd like to jump around to different points in the episode. We talk everything from potential future appearances of Moon Knight in the MCU, the logistics of how they shot scenes with both Oscar Isaacs, and more. Enjoy!
Oh yeah!
Welcome back to Wherever We Want, the podcast where we, Jake and Daniel, review content across all mediums of media, movies, TV shows, video games, and beyond to give you the most interesting behind-the-scenes insights, storytelling techniques, all that jazz, and more.
We cover everything from Marvel, Disney, Pixar, and beyond. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Pre-banter peanut butter. Daniel, hello.
Howdy.
This is a serious pre-banter.
Why?
Because, not really. It's actually really cool. So before we get into things, I just want to say thank you to Troy Hicks from GrapHICKS. He sent us these amazing hats.
Dude.
They're like Star Wars. I'm taking off my headphones so I can't hear you for a second, but they're like these Star Wars like trucker hats. I got one that says Tashi Station. Daniel, yours says Mustafar Lava Fields, and there's like a ton more.
Yep.
You guys should definitely check out his Etsy store. It's going to be linked in our description below.
Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff.
It's going to be linked in our bio if you're watching this on TikTok. But yeah, thank you again. Seriously, so much. And it got me thinking, like, I wonder what like a Star Wars like trucker would be like. Someone that would wear like a Tashi Station hat like this. Like, are there like Star Wars like rest stops like in the hyperlanes in the galaxy or something like that?
There has to be. You know what I mean? I
But
feel like there has
this
to.
got me
You
thinking.
get places like Dexter's Diner.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, they're like Dexter Jester's like cafes scattered like but in space.
Yeah.
And like, if that's not a thing, I feel like it could bring in some serious money. But I'm also thinking like we haven't seen any, and I think if there were like hyperspace lanes, that we could have avoided Star Wars because Episode 1 launches with the fact that they need to get space parts, like they need to get ship parts, and they have to land on Tatooine. If there was like a gas station like in space that they could have gotten some parts or something, they wouldn't have had to go to Tatooine. They would have never met Anakin, and Star Wars never would have happened.
I'm not sure if it's canon. I think in Legends they actually do talk about like stations, but I think they're more on the inner worlds. When you get to like the outer rim and stuff like that, it's more distance.
That's true.
Right? I don't know,
just like Utah. I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly. like imagine how many gas stations are around Utah, like legitimate, or Kansas, like where it's like all just flat.
Dude, trust me. When I was driving home, when we got to like Arizona, like some weird parts in Arizona, like there was nothing. So it was a little scary actually. So I understand why Qui-Gon was worried. All right. Anyways, are you ready to jump into the main segment of this week?
Yeah. I'm
all
excited.
Right. So Moon Knight. We're talking about the entire series overall as like a whole and like our thoughts, just everything. What?
You keep on going. I'm going to do a thing.
Okay, Daniel has just left the podcast, so it's a solo podcast. I was going to ask Daniel...
No, I'm here.
Okay. Oh, he's putting on
I wore this yesterday. I'm like, well... I should probably take
what does your name tag say?
It's just my name. That's
you just
literally
look
all it is.
so odd. You have a name tag button up with a Mustafar trucker hat and headphones on. It's a very interesting sight for people that don't
I wear many hats,
see him.
like Mark Spector.
Yes. So, what were your just like overall thoughts of the show as a whole now that it's done?
I think it was really well done. It's what we needed out of something from like a character like Moon Knight. It was something that had a different vibe to it, but at the same time explored Mark and all of his different personalities in a very unique way.
Yeah.
That made it easy for people who are new to the character to understand. And I think it was really, really well done. Honestly, I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was it was honestly like, I think Marvel probably wanted it to do well. I mean, they want all their stuff to do well, but this was the first one that's like a not pre-established character.
Yeah.
So how do you think it compares to like previous MCU shows? So we've got like WandaVision, Loki.
I think it's on par with
Falcon
Loki,
Winter Soldier.
Honestly. Like Loki's big thing was that it was introducing us to the multiverse and Kang and like larger concepts, which is always cool. And it had a good like arc to it. And it gave Loki a new light with our variant that we were following.
Well, what are your rankings? I'm just curious. Like you're saying it's on par with Loki. What are your rankings of all of the MCU shows we've gotten since Disney Plus? So like we've got, I'm just thinking out loud, like we have WandaVision, Moon Knight,
Cap,
Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki. Yeah. What's your order of favorite shows?
Worst to best? I want to say probably Falcon Winter Soldier's at the bottom. It was good, don't get me wrong, but it got really political and it was trying to do too much, I think, with its message-wise.
Okay.
Then I honestly want to say WandaVision. WandaVision and Loki, though, are on a close tier. I love Moon Knight. I wanted to see Moon Knight in MCU.
One.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Can I do mine quick? I'll do mine quick.
Yeah.
So I think I'm similar. I think Falcon Winter Soldier is at the bottom. It was like good. I don't know. I wanted different things. And compared to all the other shows, like they're so like out there and like crazy spectacle. I don't know. So that's the bottom for me. And then I think I had WandaVision. Again, I liked WandaVision. I think it was the first show, and it was the first few episodes were kind of like interesting getting started, and I really liked it. The finale was a little let down, but yeah. And I think number 2 right now, I don't know if it's just because of recency, but I think Moon Knight's my number 2 for me. I really did like Moon Knight, and I think it was a great story and structure. We'll talk about it in this episode. But like Loki for me, dude, I really enjoyed Loki, honestly.
No, dude, same. Again, Loki had a lot of great
the direction it took. Yeah.
And
the music.
Again, it opened up.
I need
so
to rewatch
much more
Loki.
Oh yeah, that's true. The music was on par.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I always liked Moon Knight. I never really got to like the comics or anything, but like I always like knew more about the character because of like stuff with Spidey or like you know like snippets of comics you see on, like Instagram and stuff like that. So like I always wanted to like see him and see how he would be done if he was in the MCU.
Do you think we'll see him for like more in the MCU? Because I know Oscar Isaac isn't contractually obligated to continue, and like this was supposed to be just like a 1 season season, I guess. I don't know.
The director himself has been said that like it would be a waste if they didn't continue.
Yeah.
You know?
I saw someone said that, like, I think in a tweet Marvel said like it like the day before the finale came out, they were like, be sure to tune in tomorrow for like the series finale, and then like the day after like it came out, they were like, all right, everyone check out the season finale. So like they might be alluding to like future seasons or like maybe future appearances in the MCU. Do you want to see him in a season 2, or do you want to see him show up in other things first?
Both. Oh, first,
first, both. At the same time. Drop Moon Knight season 2 and him in Avengers.
I feel like it needs to be a season 2 first, and here's why. Because we have the end cutscene with him being Jake Lockley.
Yeah,
like,
that'd be
confirmed.
really weird if they just drop like Mark Spector and
back in, right?
Like seemingly a normal dude back in something.
What would be cool to see now would be like how it was with Steven, right? Where like we start off with him, Mark being out in the middle of nowhere, to him being like, what the heck? Like, why am I here in like Austria or like?
Yeah, now Mark's kind of on the like unknowing end.
Yeah, now he's on the outs. Now he has to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah.
I saw this one theory before where Jake in this scenario was
Jake
made
Lockley
up to,
is the character at the end, the very end.
Yeah.
The post credits.
He was the personality made up to take the beating from like his mother, stuff like that.
So Mark is like the main. Steven is to avoid thinking about the sadness, kind of confronting it, and then Jake is like takes the abuse.
Yeah, he's the one that. Yeah, and that's why he's so good and like just raw and angry all the time, because he.
Interesting. I was gonna ask. I was wondering what you thought Jake Lockley, like how he was created and his purpose, I guess, because we saw Steven's purpose.
Yeah,
I guess it seems like Mark was aware of Steven like from the beginning. It seems like, but maybe he wasn't aware of Jake. So maybe
that could have been one from Steven
or something. Yeah. And like Steven's so I don't know, like unhinged that he doesn't know like. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, but I want to go through and talk about all the characters. I mean, the first character we're introduced to is Stephen Grant.
Yep.
And I really just love, now looking back at the whole structure of it, I love our introduction to our main character. We're introduced to Stephen, which is just like insane because that's like not the real version of Mark. Like Mark is the main character. Really. And Stephen is like this personality he created. And like the point of the show is like, oh, they're like, work together, they're both part of one whole. But the fact that we're introduced to Steven and kind of kept in the dark and have to figure it out, I really like that structure. Like I think like looking at this whole structure, like I think it's a very kind of simple-ish like story arc. Like there's one villain, and I like that. There's like one villain, and from the very beginning, like Amet, and the goal is to like stop Amet from like coming out, and then of course she is released, and at the very end they have to like defeat her. So that's, if you think about it from like a overview, that's kind of like a very simple story. It was done very effectively, but the fact that like our main character, we're introduced, like we don't know anything about our main character, I think really puts a unique spin and like shakes it up a lot.
Oh yeah, it's way different if like Captain America was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go defeat like a Nazi guy. Like it's pre-established. You already know the constructs. You know what's going on there.
Yeah, but it's a unique spin, and I think Marvel has gotten flack like a lot recently because they are doing like these simple stories, and I think they were trying to shake it up like with WandaVision. I think they kind of fell into a trap where they didn't like introduce the villain till like 2 episodes before the finale. Like we knew Agatha was kind of like sketchy, but we never knew outright that she was like the main bad, and so it kind of felt underwhelming when they were like, oh yeah, I guess like Agatha's the villain. It wasn't like built to until like the very end. And this series, this 6 episodes, we were built to from like I think like episode 2. We knew it was like Amit was like the threat.
However, you wouldn't have gone that banger. It was Agatha all along.
That is true. Oh, you're right. Oh, dang.
But no, I know what you mean. Like it.
We were
it
talking
is
about,
a different structure there.
Yeah, sorry. We were talking about which has better music, Marvel or Star Wars, 2 weeks ago. We forgot to mention Agatha all along, dude. I think that might tip the scales. The Ethan Hawke, Arthur Harrow scales.
I know, but like,
I'm kidding, dude. Of course,
it's still
Star
John
Wars.
Williams. Like,
dude, I know. I'm just
imagine John Williams doing it was Agatha all along.
I'm just thinking like Duel of the Fates, Agatha all along, like mashup or something.
Agatha all along.
Yeah, yeah. But Steven again. So, what do you think of his British accent? Because I've heard some mixed reviews.
What do you mean by mixed reviews? Do some people think it's like accurate, other people are like it's way off?
I mean, I've heard a lot of Americans who are like, oh, that's pretty good, and then a lot of like English, like UK people are like, oh, that's not really like from anywhere specifically. I thought it was okay.
Because you get different connotations depending on which parts you're in.
But
here's the thing, it feeds into the character.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's an American guy. He's
trying to like
imitate
an English speaker.
culture.
So like he's obviously not actually English. So I think it actually works that it's a little unpolished and unrefined.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also Jacob Lockley, he speaks Spanish, and that was actually Oscar Isaac's idea that he wanted to really distinguish each character. I think Oscar Isaac has like Guatemalan descent, so he like asked if he could have Jake Lockley speak Spanish just to help even further distinguish each of the 3 characters. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So then let's talk about Mark Spector a little bit. I feel like he was kind of rude and mean at first, which was like understandable because he was kind of like broken. And it was his story of like healing.
Well, he's used to being in control. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
Because it is him, if you think about it. It's that his other personalities really manifesting themselves into. I mean, we see it when later on when they're fighting on the boat, they have their own souls now, right? They're actually their own entities, which is something that was important and clear to define in the story as well. They're not just like fragments of his own mind. It's literally their own personalities now and their own souls living within the same body.
They frozen it with the heart of gold, you know?
Yeah.
I really liked like what you were saying, but I just loved episode 5. Like I really thought that was a good episode where like we understand, we get the backstory on
seeing all the memories and stuff.
Yeah, like explaining what happened between Mark and Steven and like the abuse from his mother. I think it was really interesting, like seeing a superhero film, like look into that like abuse and stuff, or superhero series.
I think it was a really good take on the character, and it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I believe in the comics what happens, because he's Jewish. And it was also great to see that at the end with the funeral, but
yeah,
it wasn't his uncle. It was like some rabbi or something like that, but like they called him uncle. He's like really close to family, but he was actually a Nazi. And he like killed people. So he like when he was little, he went down like the basement. He's doing like Nazi murder crap, and that like makes him lose it. That's where in the comics
that was the launching off point. Okay, instead of like his mother just harping on him. That's interesting. Let's talk about Ethan Hawke and Arthur Harrow. So that character, apparently that was like a smaller role in the comics and was really expanded to be like a major villain in this series because the main like Moon Knight villain, they thought it was going to be too similar to like Killmonger in the eyes of like the creatives, and they didn't want to like kind of step on Black Panther's
because it's like another mercenary guy, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he did a really good job, honestly.
And again, I also think this is a good case to where, I mean, he kind of is, but kind of isn't. Like, we always talk about, like, how the villain's always, like, the antithesis. I can't speak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, of the hero.
Arthur Harrow is not. He's just a dude that walks around in glass.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, he was the Avatar Khonshu, and now he's trying to do things with Amit now, but, like, he wasn't, like, a mercenary like Mark was. He wasn't.
Right.
He was...
like a religious leader kind of thing.
Honestly, he was almost acting like monk-like at times, you know what I mean? Like trying to like share and spread like his vision, but as flawed as it was, he wanted things to be better, which is weird to think about. It's a good motive to have, you know?
Yeah,
but it was just like
the means he was going about that, kind of like Thanos. Like Thanos thought he was doing good. I think that's the mark of a true villain. A good villain is that you think you're doing the right thing. And I thought it was interesting. I thought his faith was going to be shaken at the end because like when he summons Amit, he's like, you can sacrifice me now, like my skills are unbalanced, and then she's like, haha, nope. Like I thought that would really shake his faith because I thought that was like his ideology that he lived by. Yeah. So I thought that he was going to maybe turn or something at the end, but he ultimately didn't. But it was just an interesting little thing they added. Yeah, and then we get Layla.
Yes, Layla.
When she got possessed at the end, I wish they would have like made her like a giant hippo, like in a giant hippo costume or something like that, or like a hippo onesie or something.
I don't think it would have been very like battle like good though. You know what I mean? So I think it's good. Like the costume design that they did for her and like the wings and all that.
She's like the Scarlet Scarab, I believe. So I was reading, and the actress that actually played Layla, her name is May Kalamaui, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, but she was apparently like really intimidated like during the filming of Moon Knight.
Really? Why?
I think just like the scope of it, like the scale of it and everything. But like Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke were very like vocal about like suggesting things to the directors and giving new ideas for their characters, and they were like being like very collaborative, like the whole filmmaking process. And May was almost like, she kind of said she was like shy and nervous, but like luckily she talked about it to Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac directly, and they were like very open and welcoming and like kind of helped bridge the gap. It would often bring her ideas to the director that she was too like shy to mention, and that her ideas were ultimately eventually get implemented.
Put in. Yeah. That's sweet.
Yeah. So she was very appreciative of that, she said, and she said that like during the next some upcoming future projects, like whether it's Marvel or not, she didn't specify, but she wants to use this learning experience to like be more vocal and like confident with her decisions. Yeah.
Cool. That's really sweet. We like seeing growth.
Yeah. But I thought she did a great job.
Oh, you know, she did amazing. I mean, even with her arc, like she was a very dynamic character. The one thing I am mad about that she did was when they got the Scarab, and I get they needed to do it for a story with like Mark dying and all that, but she was like, we're in this tomb with a bunch of other mercenaries. I'm going to question you about my dad now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I know.
there's a time and a place. And you got, like, also she's like experienced, like she has experience doing like Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like she would have known, like, okay, I got some beef with you, but we got to get out of here.
Yeah. Did you know that May Kalamaui, the actress that played Layla in Moon Knight, ultimately got cast due to Instagram?
Really?
Yeah. So I was reading on IMDb.
This is a totally Tubular trivia tidbit.
Yeah, it kind of is. But so I just felt we could talk about it. The consulting producer for Moon Knight actually slid into May's DMs and told her that she was like kind of on the radar for like an upcoming lead in like a Marvel show. And then a week later, May got a call and auditioned for the part of Layla. And then 2 weeks after that, she had a chemistry read with Oscar Isaac. And 3 days after that, she was cast and got the part. So it sounds like it was a good month for her.
That's funny how things work out like that. Like you just post pictures of yourself and like stuff you do, and then they'll be like, "I want you for my movie."
Yeah.
I don't.
What accent was that?
I don't know, man. I'm getting a different personality myself.
But also, did you know? Speaking of just characters, did you know that the Moon Knight director made a cameo in episode 6?
Really? Where?
So Mohammed Diab, he plays one of Ahmet's disciples that like judges the scales of the people around Egypt. So like when the big crocodile lady like goes and then all the disciples are like, judge everyone, he's like one of the people in the background judging. And he's actually also judging, the person he's judging is the executive producer of the show, Grant Curtis. So I thought that was cool.
How'd that go?
I don't know.
Did they get judged and like, oh no, you're a bad person, and their soul left?
Maybe. He's like, this is how I'm gonna get on the show myself.
I feel like that'd be a good inside joke if you like, I don't know, like if you felt like the other person was like an asshole and you could just be like,
yeah. What if he told him like during when they were filming, like, oh yeah, don't worry, like you'll be judged fairly, and then he's like, to the visual effects artist, like, remove his soul.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, that'd be hilarious. But then again, I feel like the producer or whatever would have to like act out like falling. You know what I mean?
Nah, they would have like CG doubled him or something. Just he like goes so above and beyond.
Like Kodak
pours so much of the budget into
effort.
Just that to like spite that guy. Yes. Then we also had the gods. Like we had Khonshu and Amit.
Yes.
And then the other gods.
I like the way that they explain these gods. You know, because like again in Marvel we're starting to see all the different kinds of gods and beings of power that are in the universe.
Yeah.
Or universes. I'm thinking like Thor Love and Thunder trailer, right? Now we're getting to like the Olympians as well. So we're going to get like Zeus and Herc and like all those ones as well.
Herc.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Herc,
just abbreviate Hercules. You're on an abbreviation nickname level with Hercules.
Yeah.
The demigod.
We're chill. You know?
Me and Herc, we get beers on Fridays. Saturdays for the boys, you know how it goes.
But you know what I mean? Like being able to see all these different beings and how like their histories and how they got to being of like these levels of power. It's cool to see like how these different structures are starting to like actually build up.
I think it's interesting, just the gods this time, like they seemed really outdated and like useless, which I think was the point. I wanted to see in the finale when like that fight between Ethan Hawke and all the gods. I understand like budget and like the pacing and stuff, they cut it, but like we just cut back and they were just like annihilated. Like I feel like they are outdated. I think Khonshu was honestly onto something with that. I don't know what the solution is to that. Like maybe not overthrowing, but like something. I feel like something's got to change. That might be a story we pursue in season 2 or something, like the ineffectiveness of the gods and what they're gonna do.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool to see. I mean, at the same time, I feel like they'd have to see Khonshu now and like understand that he like what he was trying to do and how he like saved.
Yeah, he was the savior, so hopefully they'll be nicer to him, maybe.
Yeah, the gods are picky. That's the thing. It's like a really weird family relationship where you have like cousins that you don't talk to because like they're like in a different religion in like a way, you know what I mean? And you're like, why do they believe in that? Like, why do they worship cheese? Like, I don't know.
What?
But like,
I don't know where this analogy is going. They're all the same religion. They're all Egyptian gods.
But you know what I mean? Like it's like
you can't just say you
like
know
that.
what I mean and then just like assume I know what you mean. No. All right, moving back to the tanks, moving swiftly along. I want to talk about Jake Lockley a little bit more before moving on to a few other things about the show.
Yeah.
I was thinking back to episode 1. You know, Steven like has that date. I think Jake was probably the one that asked
because
out
the other
that
woman
girl.
speaks Spanish.
I mean, maybe, but because Steven obviously didn't do it, and then Mark, I feel like seemed pretty
married.
loyal to
No, it was
to
definitely
Layla.
Jake.
And also the end post-credit scene, he like grabs Ethan Hawke out of the ward by kind of like flirting away a like nurse. So I think that shows he's kind of like smooth the ladies, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know, just interesting. Like
It was definitely Jake again, because like I said, like the lady said something back to him in Spanish.
Yeah.
And Steven was like, "What?" Like, cause he,
oh yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's funny because like thinking about little moments like that just across the series, it explains so much about Jake without actually telling us or showing us Jake until like the very end, which is masterfully done. Like that was great how they did that.
Yeah. Do you think Jake will have a different third Moon Knight suit?
Probably. With how they're doing it, yeah.
I saw some theory that like I think there's like a few frames in the credits that like you can see a different kind of looking Moon Knight suit.
Really?
Yeah.
For like the last one?
Yeah. So speaking of like the suits and stuff, what do you think of the 2 suits we did see, the designs of them?
I loved how with the direction they went with the Moon Knight for like Mark. They took combinations of different suits from the comics. So there's this other version. It is like the whole wrapped, like more mummy look.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the more structural look that you get in 616, where it's like more plated and like modern-ish and stuff like that. And they did a combination of that to get like the main plate here, but then also like the wraps around for, like the arms and other sub details. So like it was beautifully constructed in that case. It made so much sense like how our version of Moon Knight would like feel and fit in with like the powers of Khonshu. Like it made it much more of a connection directly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really liked it.
And then with Steven, I dead on. It
was
Mr.
cool
Knight,
finally seeing him like cut loose and like actually fight in the finale.
Yes.
And I love them fighting like back and forth between each other. Like when Steven like threw his like nunchuck thing and then Mark like caught it like when it came around and Mark caught it and then kept fighting like in his suit. Like that was sick. And just like all the choreography in the finale I thought was really good.
Yeah.
And also just the look of Egypt. Speaking of just like the look of the show and looks and stuff. I know the director Mohammed Diab, he really wanted like an authentic like Egyptian piece of media. And I think he did a good job. Like I feel like I learned a bit and I'm obviously very ignorant and don't know much. But like I think for an example you said was like in episode like 3 or 4, there's like that knife fight on the roof. And apparently that's something that like Egyptians like fighters practice in is like that specific style of like knife fight, like with certain knife, like elegant movements and stuff. Yeah. And he was just saying that like, he's very like, he was outspoken saying that like a lot of Hollywood portrayal of like Egypt is like very old fashioned. Like it's just, they're just viewed as like this foreign entity with like the men are like evil and like ultimately like always like the bad guy, like in Indiana Jones. And like even Wonder Woman 1984, that was the case. And he was kind of upset that like, the women don't have like rights and stuff like that, and a lot of the time like it's an older like that's just like an old view of it, so he wanted to like bring an authentic view to that. So I thought he did a good job.
No, that's one thing I really like just about the show in general, with how they grounded Mark or Steven and brought them around like physically in these different areas, like whether it be when they were in Austria the first time and being able to see the town and the village and be able to get like like a feel for like what that culture would be like in a way.
Yeah.
And then again with Egypt, I was like tenfold. Like even when it came to like all the different markets and all the different places that like they're running through in that chase scene, like that's one thing that's great about like chase scenes. We're able to actually like get a much bigger understanding and glimpse into how the worlds are built by the people who live in them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was very well thought out.
I think it was really well done.
Fleshed out. Yeah, but and I think actually I read that a lot of the like desert and just Egyptian scenes in general, they actually didn't film it in Egypt because they wanted to and they really tried to. They were trying to get permits. They just had like so much trouble getting the right permit, so they ended up filming in Hungary.
You're making me hungry. I had a banger sandwich yesterday, by the way.
Wow. Okay, back to the tank. Reflections. I'm going to talk about the reflections, just cinematography in general. Like, I really like just the early episodes, like, when we didn't know what was going on, like, the reflections between the two. Maybe you think next season we'll get, like, even more reflections, like, 3-way mirrors and, like, triple reflections, like, where they're all talking to each other.
That would be really cool. But at the same time, though, I don't think we need that anymore now with Mark and Steven. Like, they're on the same page.
It's true. So maybe they'll be, like, on 2 mirrors next to each other, and then
it'll, like, go from
Jake
one to then the other, and then, like, to Jake, and
Jake
then
will
back,
be, like,
and now it's Steven.
across from them. Yeah, or something. Like, one of those changing rooms when you're, like, trying on, like, a tuxedo or, like, a suit or something, where there's, like, a million mirrors. Imagine a scene in there, dude.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. What did you think of Ahmet and just, like, the giant crocodile,
alligator
like,
lady?
Godzilla
Is she an alligator
fight
or crocodile,
at the end?
first of all?
I think she's a croc.
She had big energy.
I never thought I would write down this sentence. This was how to describe the Moon Knight finale. Ahmet got Jafar'd into Ethan Hawke. That's kind of how it ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, you're not wrong. That's the thing.
Into Ethan Hawke after she was stopped by a giant skeleton bird from eating souls. Like, what? That's just an interesting finale. Very unique. Very cool.
Just imagine being like a bystander is what I'm trying to get at. You know what I mean?
I love the shot where Arthur Harrow like hits Moon Knight. He's on the ground. He looks up and he sees like
looks up and
he's twisting, and the two are like fighting. The two. Giants,
I love that shot too.
And then Arthur Harrow's just like slowly walking towards him menacingly. Very cool. I also really liked in that final battle, it was such a small detail, but the fact that Ethan Hawke's hair like gets like wet and sweaty. That's not really like seen, I feel like, in a lot of superhero films and just movies in general. Like they're always like have the perfect hairstyle and like look great flowing in the wind. But I felt like it looked like Ethan Hawke was like struggling because he's just a dude and he's running around in glass and like he got sweaty and was like,
yeah, that is true.
down.
Like the whole time has freaking glass on his feet.
So
I don't get why he does that. What was the point of him doing that again? It's like some kind of judgment thing?
Something. Probably like his penance for being unbalanced or something.
No, that's right. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So what happens to the souls that were eaten by the crocodile? Are they just like gone forever? Like the freaking executive producer, is he gone?
Well, did they go directly into the crocodile that one shot? Like in her?
Yeah.
In that case, I feel
are they just
like
all
it'd be like
in Ethan Hawke now? He's just like a superhuman. So when Jake Lockley shot him, he killed like 50
it released all the souls.
People.
It could have, yeah.
Dang. All right, I'm talking about a totally trivia tidbit for Moon Knight. Did you know that for Moon Knight, for the scenes where Oscar Isaac had to interact with himself, they hired Oscar Isaac's real life brother, Michael Benjamin Hernandez, to serve as his double.
Really? That makes sense.
Yeah, so Oscar said that like his brother was like the closest thing to him there is on Earth, and that it helped him like seamlessly like differentiate between the characters, like because he was able to feed off of like his brother's energy as if it was he was actually acting off of himself or something close to himself.
So were they like hot swapping then to whereas like Isaac was like Mark in this shot,
I don't know,
he's also
maybe.
Steven in another shot. I feel like that's be a way you would have to do it sometimes though, you know what I mean?
Was there anything you didn't like about this?
Again, Layla's decision. To be like, my dad, you know, like
Layla's decision to not dress up, not request a hippo outfit.
Yeah, that too. Like, come on, man. No, like really it was just that. Just poor judgment in that moment. But everything else, like story-wise, like it made sense. It was done very, very well, you know?
Yeah.
It had me attentive the entire time. Like, I always wanted to see like what new like creature or demon, like a little like dog demon dude or whatever that they had to fight that
dog demon dude, DDD.
Yeah,
King DDD.
Like when they're bringing in stuff like that, it's just so cool to see.
Ahmet the crocodile reminded me of that crocodile from Super Smash Bros. What's his name?
I know what you're talking about. Like,
yeah,
I'm not a Nintendo.
K. Rool.
Yeah.
Resembles an overweight crocodile with an infected, bulging eye. The name K. Rool is a play on the word cruel. Cool. This reminded me of that. Maybe they'll have a kid. K. Rool.
Oh
and
God.
Ahmet. I liked how they the VFX of like her talking. Like, I think it's difficult to get a crocodile to like look like it's talking properly, but I thought they did a really good job with the mouth
definitely.
animation.
Yeah. No, that is weird to think about because like we know how like we talk. You know, like you can see. Like,
I think that was something that Lion King also the live action struggled with. Like, it's easy to make an animated lion look like it's talking, but like to have like the jaw structure of like a real warthog and have it look like it's talking and emoting is very difficult. Live action, yeah. Also, one last little tidbit I saw, but apparently Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke were both in like consideration for playing Doctor Strange before Benedict Cumberbatch was cast. Check out our previous episode where we talked about Multiverse of Madness.
It'd be funny to see like versions of them like in other universes as Doctor Strange, or like vice versa. Like imagine Benedict Cumberbatch
as Moon Knight.
Like, Moon Knight.
Oh, that'd be weird. Yeah. All right. Well, that was all my thoughts on Moon Knight. You ready to jump in the next segment?
Yeah.
All right. Totally Trivia Tidbits. Did you know that Disney almost shut down production on the first Pirates of the Caribbean before it was ever released?
The movie?
Yeah.
Why?
During development, the movie was being written to be based on like the popular amusement park ride at Disney, and the Disney executives were extremely skeptical from the beginning as to how well a pirate movie based on a ride could actually be and do. The CEO at the time, Michael Eisner, originally was considering not giving it a theatrical release at all. Like, he wanted to do direct to video, which was just like film suicide back then. And then before Pirates were scheduled to like start production, Country Bears was released by Disney, which was a complete flop. It was also a movie Disney released based on a ride at their amusement park. So Eisner actually wanted to pull the plug completely because of this first like flop based on a theme park ride. And he went down to the offices that Pirates of the Caribbean were working at. But he was so blown away by like the concept art that the artists were like creating that the movie ultimately like survived being cut, and it like went on to become one of Disney's most successful franchises.
That's crazy to think about. Like being the artist who's like, yeah, I'm going to
saved
draw this
Pirates
up,
of the Caribbean,
and I saved it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone. Thank you again to Troy Hicks. Again, everyone check out his
hat so much.
Instagram and his Etsy shop. Definitely buy some hats. It's all gonna be linked below. Really awesome, cool trucker hat. Again, I'm taking off my headphones so you guys can see the view.
I'll do it as well. Hold on.
Yeah, they're like these cool like patched.
Look at that head.
Like sewn on to like a trucker hat.
Can also do it. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Ready for patron shout-outs?
I don't feel like being a cool guy. Give me 1 sec.
You are a cool guy, Daniel, no matter how you wear your hat.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Cue Epic Stars music. Boosh, we got Pitch and Lori, Frank, Rick, Lisa, Evan, Tony. Thank you so much for pledging the tier. They can see the shout out if you like to support us over on Patreon. The link is down in the description. You get the audio episode early, and we sometimes like chat to you, like we're doing some merch stuff coming up. So we chat to you about your opinions on that. Just, yeah, fun time. We really appreciate the support. Even if you don't support us on Patreon, we really appreciate just you guys watching and listening, seriously. If you would like to head on over to Apple Podcasts to leave a review, feel free to do that. We will shout them out in this section here. We also shout out comments from our YouTube channel. I don't know if we shouted this one out already, but no Toady 609 commented, "You guys really deserve more fame," and we appreciate that. Honestly, just happy doing what we're doing. Yeah, so thank you. Ready for the outroduction?
Yes, tell me when.
When?
We just talked about what we want to talk about, and now we're done.
Thank you so much for listening. Next week we are going to talk about Rebels. We both have never watched Rebels before, like this year, and we've now like watched them all. I think Daniel's almost done, and we're gonna talk about.
By this time, I'll be done when this launches.
We're gonna talk about a review about all of Rebels. Yeah, that's leading up to Kenobi, and then after that, we're talking about Kenobi. That's actually our 100th episode, and we have actually some really special things planned for that. So stay tuned, and thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.